We are now just hours away from an incredibly powerful and quietly transformative moment. On May 27th, a super new moon rises. Not just a darkened sky in the night, but an energetic portal, a sacred reset point in the grand rhythm of the cosmos. This is not just another lunar event, not just another evening where the moon disappears behind shadows. This is a deep spiritual checkpoint, a celestial pause where something far more profound is at play. If you've felt the shift already, a stirring in your emotions, a heaviness in your thoughts, an unusual string of coincidences that seem far too aligned to be chance. You're not imagining things. You're tuning in. You're sensing the invisible undercurrent of change that's already beginning to unfold. There is a subtle, almost silent intensity in the air right now. It's not the kind that screams for attention. Instead, it whispers to your soul, calling you back to your center. This new moon carries the energy of both an ending and a beginning, one so deep and energetically rich that it doesn't need to announce itself loudly. It simply is. It moves through you, pulling at the inner tides of your being, asking you to pay attention to what you've outgrown, what you're clinging to, and what you're quietly longing to become. In the presence of this super new moon, time bends. You might feel as though you're walking between worlds, still tethered to the past, but sensing the pull of a future that hasn't yet fully formed. And that's exactly what this moon offers. A liminal space, a mystical in-between, where the past and future merge in the sacred silence of now. This isn't a void of nothingness. This is a pause brimming with potential. It's the dark soil where new life prepares to bloom, where dreams you haven't yet dared to voice begin to stir under the surface of your consciousness. Traditionally, new moons symbolize rebirth, intention setting, and inward reflection. But this one goes deeper. It's not about grand declarations or visible transformations. It's about the quiet unfolding of your inner truth, the parts of you you've hidden, suppressed, or forgotten. It's about noticing the subtle shifts within, the soft inner voice that grows louder when the world gets quieter, the emotional echoes rising from your past, the intuitive nudges that seem to come out of nowhere. These are not random occurrences. They are signals from the soul, asking you to come back home to yourself. Right now, you may feel emotional, reflective, or inexplicably drawn to memories you thought you'd outgrown. These sensations are part of the cleansing process that precedes all new beginnings. The universe doesn't often hand us moments of such clarity and energetic freshness, so when it does, it's important to honor them, not with haste, but with reverence. This new moon is like a sacred letter from the cosmos, and it begins with one message. Pause, listen, and reset. This moment doesn't demand dramatic action. It simply asks for your presence, your willingness to be still, to check in with yourself honestly and deeply before the energy begins to accelerate again. There's an invitation here, a doorway to walk through, but only if you choose it consciously. If your spirit is ready, even quietly, even uncertainly, then let it be known. I'm ready. Ready to release, ready to renew, ready to receive. And yet, before we fully step into this next chapter, there are a few soul-level preparations that must be made, not as tasks to complete, but as offerings to your own becoming. This isn't about checking things off a spiritual to-do list. It's about making space with care and clarity for the life that's waiting for you beyond this moon. The first call is to emotional clearing. This is not about bypassing your feelings or rushing to feel better. It's about facing what's been buried. Ask yourself, What emotional clutter are you still carrying? Are there conversations, either with others or within yourself, that you keep replaying in your mind? Are there memories that still sting when they surface? Wounds that have remained raw beneath the surface even as you've smiled through the days? This moon is a healer in disguise. It doesn't demand that you fix everything overnight. It simply invites you to let go of what no longer needs to follow you. Not by erasing your past, but by honoring it and making peace with its place in your story. There is also a deeper layer to explore: the energetic agreements you've made. Some of these are visible and conscious: promises, commitments, expectations. But others are subtle, unspoken pacts you've made without realizing. Saying yes when you mean no. Staying small so others don't feel uncomfortable. Showing up for those who rarely do the same for you. These silent contracts slowly drain your energy and distort your sense of self. The super new moon asks you to become aware of these patterns and to reclaim your boundaries. You can release them with grace, not resentment. This is about rewriting the script of your life with honesty, love, and a fierce devotion to your well-being. Alongside this, notice the habits that have taken root in your daily life, the small routines that keep you disconnected from your own truth. Maybe it's the constant need to stay busy, the endless scroll through screens, or the tendency to drown your discomfort in distractions. These behaviors aren't inherently bad. In fact, many of them were coping mechanisms, born in times when you needed them to survive. But survival isn't the goal anymore. Living fully and freely is. This is your moment to choose presence over autopilot. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it feels unfamiliar. It's a slow but powerful way of reclaiming your aliveness. And then there's your mind, the sacred garden of thoughts that shapes your reality. In the quiet of this new moon, take time to listen to what plays on repeat in your inner dialogue. Which beliefs are still rooted in fear? Which stories do you tell yourself that keep you from believing in your own possibility? Instead of judging those thoughts, meet them with compassion. Ask new questions. Shift the narrative. Let your mind become a fertile space where possibility can take root, where you're no longer defined by what has been, but by what could be. This sacred reset also invites you to ground yourself through simple rituals. You don't need incense or elaborate ceremonies, though you're welcome to include them. What matters is your presence, your intention. Light a candle and breathe deeply. Write a heartfelt letter to your future self and place it beneath your pillow. Speak your hopes aloud under the dark sky. Walk barefoot on the grass and feel the earth hold you. These small rituals are not empty gestures. They are anchors, helping you root yourself in your own sacred truth. They signal to the universe that you are here, awake, and ready to co-create. And finally, reclaim your time. Time is not just minutes on a clock. It is your energy, your breath, your most precious currency. Ask yourself, where is your time going? What are you investing it in? What drains you, and what fills your cup? Before the moon begins its new cycle, gift yourself the sacred act of presence. Create moments, even tiny ones, that are yours and yours alone. 10 minutes of quiet reflection, a cup of tea enjoyed without distraction, a few moments of silence before you begin the day. These practices may seem small, but they're revolutionary. They're declarations that you matter. So as this super new moon rises and the sky turns still and dark, let that stillness not be a void, but a vessel. A holy space where endings fade with grace and beginnings stir gently into being. Let yourself feel whatever comes up: grief, hope, uncertainty, excitement. Let it all be welcome. You are not broken, you are becoming, and in this becoming, may you remember the quiet power of your own soul. May you honor the space between who you were and who you are becoming. May you trust that this pause, this silence, this breath in time is not the end, but the beginning of something beautifully aligned with your truest self. This new moon is not just happening above you, it's unfolding within you. Let it carry you inward. Let it awaken what has long been waiting. Let it be the moment you begin again, not with noise, but with knowing. Not with force, but with faith. Not with fear, but with a heart wide open. There comes a moment in life, not loud, not dramatic, but deeply sacred, when you feel something stir within you. It's not something you can see or define with words, but it makes its presence known through a quiet restlessness, an inner nudge that asks you to pause, to breathe, and to notice what's been building beneath the surface. That moment is here, and it's asking for your presence, not your perfection. As we approach the new moon, a cosmic still point in the sky, there's a soft but powerful invitation to begin again. Not just in the practical sense of starting something new, but in the spiritual sense of returning to yourself. Before any seeds can be planted, the ground must be cleared. And right now, that ground is your inner landscape, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotional undercurrent, and the stories you've been telling yourself without even realizing it. It's time to clear the clutter. Not just the objects that have collected dust in the corners of your home, but the invisible weight you've been carrying inside. The outdated beliefs, the looping thoughts, the low hum of anxiety or doubt that fogs your clarity and crowds your intuition. This kind of clutter accumulates quietly. It doesn't scream for attention, but it slowly chips away at your sense of peace. It whispers half-truths about who you are and what you're capable of. It scatters your focus, dulls your instincts, and drains your spirit until you're left wondering why everything feels so heavy. But this new moon brings with it a breath of stillness, a cosmic exhale, and it's asking you to stop, just for a moment, and listen. Not with your ears, but with your heart. Not with your mind, but with your soul. What are you still carrying that's no longer yours? What emotional dust needs to be swept away so you can finally see what's always been shining underneath? This is not about blaming yourself for the clutter or forcing yourself to be better. It's about holding yourself gently in awareness and choosing to clear space, not as a punishment, but as a profound act of love. This sacred pause is your moment of truth, a chance to realign, a moment to peel back the noise of the world and remember the wisdom that lives within you, the part of you that already knows what needs to stay and what needs to go. It's the part of you that's always known, but that often gets drowned out in the rush to keep up, to be productive, to do more. The new moon isn't asking for grand gestures. It isn't asking for you to have all the answers or even to take dramatic action. It's simply asking for your honesty, your presence, your willingness to stand in your own truth and say, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm ready to begin again. Transformation, after all, doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it moves in the quietest ways, in the hush of a breath, in the stillness of a decision, in the soft turning away from what no longer feels true. Let go of the idea that you need to have it all figured out. The truth is, none of us do, and that's okay. What matters more is that you're willing to meet yourself where you are, with compassion instead of criticism. That you're willing to let go of the outdated expectations and begin to trust your own timing, your own rhythm, your own voice. There is such power in that kind of self-love, the kind that doesn't wait for perfection to arrive before offering grace, the kind that holds you in the mess and says, even now, especially now, I choose to believe in myself. So ask yourself gently, what emotions have I been carrying that no longer have a place in my life? What stories have I been telling myself that are rooted in fear, not truth? What beliefs have outlived their purpose? Let this be your sacred clearing. Let this be the moment you create space, not by pushing things away, but by softly letting them fall, like autumn leaves making room for new growth. Imagine your mind as a vast, open sky. Watch the clouds of worry, confusion, and self-doubt drift by, not as something to fight, but as something to observe and release. You don't need to chase the storm away. Just make room for the quiet calm that follows. The darkness of the new moon isn't empty. It's full of potential. It's the rich soil in which your intentions can be planted and nourished. But before anything can bloom, there must be room to grow. Give yourself the gift of silence, even if just for a few minutes. Step away from the noise. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Listen to the subtle voice within, the one that doesn't shout, but guides with quiet certainty. This voice is your intuition, your inner compass. It won't always give you step-by-step instructions, but it will always tell you when something feels aligned and when it doesn't. Trust that. Trust yourself. The world may be loud and chaotic, but inside you there is a sacred stillness that cannot be shaken. When you tune into that place, you begin to remember what you truly need, not what you've been conditioned to want, not what others expect from you, but what your soul longs for. And when you know what you truly need, you can begin to move through life with clarity, purpose, and peace. This isn't just a poetic moment in the lunar cycle. It's a spiritual doorway, a threshold where endings and beginnings meet, a portal through which you get to walk, if you choose to. You don't need to know exactly where you're going. You only need to trust the path beneath your feet and the voice within your heart. That's enough. That's everything. And as you stand here, on the edge of something both tender and powerful, ask yourself, what kind of life do I want to step into? What kind of version of myself am I ready to embody? Let your answers come slowly, without pressure. Let them emerge like stars in a dark sky, one by one, revealing their quiet light. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are exactly where you're meant to be, at the beginning of something sacred. This new moon is not just a reset. It's a resurrection, a reawakening of your deepest truths, a return to the magic of your own becoming. Be kind to yourself as you let go. Be gentle as you face the unknown. Let compassion be your anchor. And when the fear rises, as it sometimes will, hold your own hand and remind yourself, I am safe, I am loved, I am free to change. This inner kindness is not weakness, it's strength. It's the energy that turns transformation into healing and growth into grace. So take this moment to say it, not just with your voice, but with your being. I'm ready. Ready to listen. Ready to feel. Ready to move forward with truth as my guide and love as my foundation. Because the new moon is not somewhere far away. It's right here, in your breath, in your intention, in your willingness to believe in the life that is waiting for you to say yes. This is your beginning, and you don't have to earn it. You just have to claim it. This is your moment. Not just any fleeting moment. Not just a tick of the clock in the stream of time, but your moment. An invitation from the universe itself, tender and real, to pause and face the quiet places within you that have been asking for your attention. You know the ones, the shadows that linger in the corners of your heart, the whispers that say, maybe later, or maybe when you're ready. The thoughts you've hidden away under busy days and endless responsibilities, all waiting for you to finally look inward and ask, what if now is the time? The new moon doesn't burst into your world with noise or demands. It doesn't shout or shine with fireworks. Instead, it arrives in the hush, in the stillness, in the soft darkness that wraps around the earth like a velvet blanket. And in that gentle silence, it asks something simple but profound. It asks you to choose. Not perfectly, not forever, just honestly and from your heart. To choose yourself, to choose growth, to choose to say yes, even if that yes is only a whisper. There is power in this darkness, sacred power, the kind that doesn't dominate but instead embraces. It doesn't force transformation, it invites it. Like a tide quietly reclaiming the shoreline, the new moon draws you inward, back to the places where your truth lives, back to the roots of your being. This is not about grand declarations or dramatic leaps. It's about the subtle shift that happens when you listen. When you slow down enough to hear what your soul has been saying all along. And what it's saying is, you're ready. Not perfect, not fearless, but ready in the truest sense. Willing to look at what's been hidden, willing to soften around your edges, willing to let go of the beliefs and behaviors that no longer serve your growth. This moment isn't asking for a flawless plan or instant clarity. It's asking for your presence, for your honesty, for your trust in the unknown path that lies ahead. This new moon is more than a dark sky above. It's a sacred threshold within, a doorway to something deeper, more authentic, a reset button for your inner world. And here, in this space between what was and what could be, you have a chance to realign, to remember what you long for, to reconnect with the parts of yourself that have been waiting, quietly, patiently, for you to return to them. So many of us live in waiting, waiting for the right moment, waiting for certainty, waiting until we feel more brave, more healed, more capable. But what if the new moon is here to remind you that waiting isn't where transformation happens? That becoming is born in the now, in the choice to begin, even when the road ahead is unclear. Because here's the truth, no one else can do this part for you. The universe might offer signs, synchronicities, glimpses of what's possible. But the decision to turn inward, to say yes to yourself, to move toward the life you long for, that choice must rise from within you. It is your voice, your breath, your sacred courage that begins the journey. And no, it doesn't have to be loud, or certain, or dramatic. In fact, most true beginnings are quiet. They unfold in the smallest ways, a moment of awareness, a shift in perspective, a breath taken with intention. These tiny sparks are what ignite the fire that says, this is who I am, this is what I'm choosing, this is the beginning. Feel that. Feel it in your chest, like a soft hum beneath your skin. It's subtle, but it's real. And that subtlety is part of the magic. Because growth doesn't always look like change on the outside. Sometimes it looks like rest. Like a single new thought. Like an old wound finally acknowledged and held with kindness. Like a seed planted deep, long before it ever blooms. This is what the new moon brings you, a blank canvas for your soul. an opportunity to align your dreams with your daily choices, to bring what you feel into what you do. But this alignment is not a passive gift. It is a responsibility, a sacred agreement between you and the life you want to create. Ask yourself gently, but honestly, what are you still carrying that you don't need anymore? What fears, habits, or stories have become too heavy to hold? The new moon is not asking you to fix them all tonight. It's asking you to see them, to name them, to meet them with compassion. Because only when you bring them into the light of your awareness can you begin to release their grip. Imagine standing at the edge of the ocean. The waves come and go, soft and steady. With each pull, they take a little bit of the old with them. And with each return, they offer something new, a fresh chance, a deeper breath, a reminder that you are not stuck, that you are, like the tide, always in motion. But remember, this is not a time to rush. The new moon doesn't demand action. It calls for presence, for slowness, for surrender to the rhythms of becoming. Just as roots grow deep before anything blooms above ground, your transformation is happening beneath the surface, quietly, powerfully, and with purpose. So give yourself that gift, the gift of space, of silence, of asking yourself the questions you've been too busy to ask. What dreams have been waiting for your attention? What longings have you hushed out of fear? What parts of your soul are still hoping to be seen, heard, held? The new moon holds these answers, not because it gives them to you, but because it reminds you where to look. Inside. Always inside. It reflects your inner world back to you, asking you to honor what you find there. This is a turning point, a place where doubt meets possibility, where longing meets choice, where the idea of change becomes real, not someday, not after, but now. Can you feel that shift, that flicker of hope rising inside you? It's not grand or loud, but it's there, and it's powerful. That flicker is a fire waiting to grow, a fire made of clarity, courage, and deep-rooted desire to live fully, authentically, and in alignment with your truth. But this fire comes with responsibility, to yourself, to your path, to the version of you that's waiting just on the other side of your fear. The universe is always moving, always evolving, always unfolding, and it's asking, will you move with it? Will you rise to meet your own becoming? This is not about perfection, not about knowing exactly how to get there. It's about choosing to show up with your heart open and your spirit willing to take that first step, and then the next, and the next. Each one a prayer, each one a declaration. I am becoming. And now here you are, standing in the sacred stillness before the new moon rises. You're not who you used to be, and you're not yet who you're becoming. You are in the in-between, a space rich with possibility and sacred beyond measure. Will you step through the doorway? Will you choose to believe that change is not just possible, but already happening? That everything you need is already inside you, waiting for your yes? Say it. Whisper it if you must. Say, I'm ready. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you're willing to begin. Because your spirit is stirring, your truth is rising, and your heart knows that something beautiful wants to emerge. This night is more than darkness. It is a beginning, a sacred unfolding, a quiet revolution of the soul. The new moon marks the place where something ends and something else begins, and the choices you make now will echo long into the days and months ahead. You are not the stories that once defined you. You are not the fears that tried to contain you. You are not the mistakes or the missed chances. You are possibility. You are change. You are power in its gentlest, most honest form. The universe has never promised certainty. It never held out a hand offering a map with every twist and turn clearly marked. There are no guarantees written in the stars, no vows that all will unfold the way your heart silently hopes it might. And yet, in place of promises, the universe offers something far more alive, something deeply sacred. It offers invitations, not commands, not demands, not ultimatums, just simple, quiet invitations to step forward, to show up, to lean in. And right now, in this very breath, one of those invitations is unfolding in front of you. This moment, right here and now, is brimming with possibility. You may not see it at first glance. It may not announce itself with loud declarations or flashing signs. But if you take a pause, if you sink just slightly beneath the surface, you'll feel it. The hum of something new calling you. It's the soft current of change, a pulse of energy that asks you to trust it, even if you can't yet explain it. It doesn't wait forever, and it doesn't beg for attention. It simply waits to be noticed, to be chosen, to be lived into. As the new moon draws near, we stand at the threshold of a powerful, energetic opening. On the outside, the new moon might appear like nothing, a blank sky, an invisible presence, a soft darkness draped across the heavens. But don't let its stillness fool you. In that quiet void lives the beginning of everything. It is from this space, this sacred pause, that all creation begins. It's the space where intention becomes seed, where vision begins to shape itself into form. All things are possible in this fertile darkness, but only if you're brave enough to meet it with the truth of who you are and what you're ready to become. So the real question becomes, how will you hold this space? How will you meet this moment that's pulsing with the energy of new beginnings? How will you take the whisper of a dream inside your heart and begin to give it breath, give it shape, give it life? It doesn't begin with a grand leap. It rarely does. The most profound transformations don't crash through the door with fireworks and symphonies. They begin in the small, ordinary spaces of your everyday life. They begin in the quiet decisions, the little choices that no one sees but you. They take root in the way you speak to yourself in the mirror each morning, in the way you choose compassion instead of criticism, in the way you pause before reacting and breathe instead. This is where real change lives, in the sacred space between one breath and the next. If you're waiting for clarity to come in one dramatic burst, you might miss the gentle truth already sitting at your feet. Because clarity often arrives like a whisper. It comes in the stillness you create when you ask yourself, what truly aligns with who I am becoming? And this isn't just about what feels good in the moment. It's about what feels true, what feels rooted in the most authentic version of yourself that's quietly rising beneath the surface. Each new morning is another invitation to step into your becoming. Not the version of you others expect, not the version that plays it safe or stays small to keep the peace, but the version that feels undeniably you. It begins with one simple, sacred question. What choice today brings me closer to the life I know is meant for me? The beauty of that question is that it's not asking for a full plan or perfect execution. It's asking for presence. It's asking for a willingness to meet yourself honestly where you are and take just one step forward from there. This is the energy the new moon carries. It is not loud, but it is potent. It's a quiet but unmistakable call to release, to gently let go of the stories, beliefs, and patterns that no longer reflect the truth of who you are. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or denying what's been. It means honoring your journey while choosing to no longer carry what has become too heavy, what no longer nourishes you. Every time you choose to loosen the grip of fear or doubt, every time you rewrite the script that tells you you're not enough, you reclaim your power. You return to yourself. This process of returning, of choosing presence, of peeling back the layers that no longer serve, is not just self-development. It is sacred work. It's the work your soul came here to do. Imagine an artist standing before a block of marble. They don't begin by adding to it. They begin by removing, chipping away at what doesn't belong. With each careful movement, the shape that was always within begins to emerge. That's what this moment is offering you. A chance to remove what has hidden your light. A chance to uncover the truest form of your being. But that kind of clarity asks something of you. It asks for radical honesty, the kind that's both loving and brave. It invites you to ask yourself without flinching, what needs to change in my life? And just as importantly, what within me is worth nourishing and growing? These are not always easy questions. They require courage, but in that courage lies freedom. Because the moment you allow yourself to see clearly, you also allow yourself to begin again. And beginning again isn't weakness. It's not failure. It's one of the bravest acts a soul can choose. The new moon is a sacred reminder that darkness isn't always something to fear. Sometimes it's simply the space where new life is being formed. It's the place where your deepest truth can rise without distraction. It's where you hear your intuition most clearly, not because it's suddenly louder, but because you've finally created enough silence to hear it. That quiet voice inside you, the one that speaks without urgency or fear, that's your true compass. It's not here to push or pressure you. It's here to guide you gently, faithfully, even when you feel unsure, even when fear tries to cloud your path. That voice doesn't disappear. It waits. It waits until you're ready to listen again. And if you're hearing doubts rise up, if your mind is swirling with questions like, am I ready? Or can I really do this? Know this. Those questions are not signs of failure. They're part of the unfolding. They are natural, human responses to growth. Change will always stir something within us. Those doubts are not your enemies. They are reminders that you are on sacred ground. They show you what's ready to be healed, where your faith is asking to grow deeper. And sometimes, all it takes is one small act of courage. One tiny flame of belief that says, I may not have all the answers, but I trust the next step. Even when your inner light feels faint, it's still there. It can still be chosen, and once you choose it, it begins to grow. That choice alone is a turning point, a moment when momentum begins to build, when stagnant energy begins to flow, when what once felt impossible starts to take form. This new moon doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't ask for certainty. It simply asks for presence. It asks you to stand in your truth, not the polished version, not the idealized version, but the real one. The one that's messy and radiant, unsure and wise all at once. This is the moment to embrace that truth, to meet yourself as you are, and to take one honest, heartfelt step forward. So ask yourself, what does it truly mean to begin again? Not just on the surface, but at the soul level. What does it mean to release the stories that have kept you tethered to the past and to move towards something more real, more aligned, more alive? This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about remembering who you are. It's about honoring the truth that's been quietly waiting beneath the noise, ready to rise. Whatever answer comes, hold it gently. Let it be your seed, the beginning of something sacred. Tend to it with care. Feed it with your attention, your choices, your courage. Trust that it will grow, even if you can't yet see the full picture. The new moon is your garden, and your intentions are the seeds. Plant them with love, water them with devotion. Give them sunlight in the form of your presence. This night isn't just another dark sky. It's an opening, a portal. A breath between what's been and what's about to be. It's not about watching the moon rise. It's about rising with it. Let this moment be the one where you choose yourself again, where you say yes, not just to possibility, but to your own power to shape that possibility into something real. The universe is watching, not in judgment, but in quiet anticipation. It holds its breath, waiting to see what you will create next. Will you meet it with open hands, with an open heart? Will you choose to trust even when the outcome is unclear? Will you rise, not because you have everything figured out, but because you're willing to show up anyway? The new moon offers more than stillness. It offers fertile ground. It's not empty. It's ready. Ready for your dreams, your truth, your love, your longing. Ready for your presence, and in that presence lies your power. This is the space where the story of your life shifts, not because you wished it so, but because you showed up for it. Let this night be the beginning. Let it be the moment you chose to listen more deeply, to love yourself more fiercely, to trust more fully. The stars are watching, and your soul is ready. Light your inner flame, even if it flickers. It doesn't have to be a blaze to be enough. It just has to be true. The power of this moment lives deeply in the tension between endings and beginnings, between darkness and light. A sacred space where transformation breathes in the quiet pause. It is a moment so rich with duality that it carries both the weight of what is leaving and the spark of what is about to emerge. In this delicate balance, you find the reminder that within every ending there is a seed, fragile yet alive, waiting beneath the surface. This seed may be hidden by layers of doubt, fear, or the shadows of past hurts. But it is there, patiently waiting for your recognition, your willingness to nurture it, and your courage to bring it forth. This new moon offers you a sacred pause, a cosmic breath that invites you to release what no longer serves your highest good and to open your heart and mind to what lies ahead. This is not just a fleeting moment. It is an opportunity to surrender old energies and step courageously into the unknown. To welcome this transformation is an act of bravery that calls you to face where you've been stuck, to confront the places where you have clung to familiar pain or worn-out patterns. And it asks you to take the next step forward, even if your voice trembles or your footing feels unsure. A vital part of this journey is learning to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the things you didn't know, for the choices you had to make to survive, and for the ways you may have unconsciously held yourself back. The power in this moment isn't about perfection or having it all figured out. It is about your willingness to begin again, to write a new chapter even with trembling hands and a hesitant heart. This is the essence of transformation. It is messy, tender, and deeply human. Transformation under this new moon doesn't happen overnight. Like the phases of the moon itself, it unfolds gradually, with intention and purpose. Tonight, you plant a seed, but the real work begins with tomorrow and every day after. Through your actions, your decisions, and your commitment to stay aligned with your truth, you nourish this seed. Real change is quiet and patient, rooted in love, and it grows from the small daily choices you make to honor yourself. To walk this path, you must become your own ally. This means tuning into your body when it signals tension or fatigue, giving space to your emotions even when they feel confusing or overwhelming, and trusting that your inner wisdom is valid and real. The energy of this new moon supports all of this. It amplifies your clarity and sharpens your intuition. It calls you inward, not to hide, but to discover the parts of yourself ready to emerge into the light. This moment, this dark and silent space in the sky, is not an ending, but a beginning. It is a call to move forward with open arms and an open heart. Imagine your heart as a garden, not just as a metaphor, but as something tangible within you. See the tangled overgrowth, the parts weighed down by old stories or emotions you've been carrying. Now sense the quiet patches of soil waiting patiently for your attention, ready to bloom when you give them care. This is your moment to step into that space with intention, to gently pull out the weeds that no longer belong, whether those are limiting beliefs, worn-out habits, or lingering fears, and to plant seeds filled with your deepest hopes, your truth, and your vision for what is to come. Everything you've learned, every experience you've been through leading up to this new moon, has prepared you for this sacred pause. Each lesson, no matter how challenging or subtle, is a tool in your hands. These tools are not to be forgotten or discarded. They are gifts to help you shape your inner landscape. With them, you prune away what needs release, nurture what wants to grow, and protect the sacred ground of your being. Living consciously and deliberately in this way puts you in harmony with the natural rhythm of the universe. Instead of waiting for change to happen to you, you begin to co-create your life with intention and awareness. Aligning with the cosmos is not simply a spiritual ideal, it is deeply healing. It steadies the restless mind, softens a heart burdened by anxiety or pain, and reconnects you to your inner voice. When you listen to that voice with clarity, you open the door to a wellspring of inspiration and creativity that flows from within. And the transformation you experience inside radiates outward. It affects your relationships, your work, and the way you carry your dreams. As you shed old patterns and create space in your soul, you invite new connections, fresh opportunities, and a renewed sense of purpose to enter your life. The energy you free becomes fuel for your joy, your passion, and the quiet strength that uplifts those around you. This is the true gift of the new moon, a chance to reset your internal compass, to pause, to breathe, to reflect, and then to move forward with clarity, alignment, and grace. This is not about perfection or control, but about trust. Trusting the process, letting go just enough to allow life to meet you halfway, and believing that something greater is supporting you, gently guiding your growth. There will be moments when old fears creep back, when the weight of the past feels overwhelming, or when the path ahead seems shrouded in uncertainty. This is natural and part of the unfolding journey. But you are not alone. The energy of the new moon is with you, subtle yet powerful, whispering, "Keep going." Like a quiet ally, it reminds you of what you already know deep within. You are powerful, you are capable, and you are ready. Take a moment now and ask yourself, what story do you want to write in this next chapter of your life? How would it feel to live fully aligned with your deepest truth? How can you honor this sacred moment being offered to you? The answers lie within you. They hold the key to your transformation. Not outside, but inside. Trust those answers. Let them guide your choices, your actions, and your voice. Speak them aloud. Live them with courage. Let them shape the path forward. When the new moon rises, don't just look up and admire it from a distance. Step fully into its light. Be present with the vast possibilities it brings. Let its energy spark your courage, ignite your creativity, and deepen your compassion. This is not a time to hide or hold back. This is your moment to rise, not as a passive observer, but as an active participant in your own evolution. Breathe deeply. Anchor yourself in the stillness of this moment. Feel the weight of everything you have carried begin to melt into the quiet of the night. Then take that first step, steady, open-hearted, and clear, into the future you are called to shape. The new moon is here, and this moment belongs to you. What you choose to do with it will become part of the story of who you are becoming. This is not just another night in the sky. It is a crossroads, a rare and sacred intersection where the rhythm of the cosmos meets the journey of your soul. It is not distant or separate from you, but unfolding within you right now. It is a quiet yet urgent invitation to awaken, to move forward, and to claim the power that has always lived inside you. You may have heard of the essential reflections you are called to embrace before this new moon. Whether it's releasing what no longer serves, cleansing your energy, or creating space for stillness, each practice is a thread in a larger tapestry. Together, these reflections form the foundation of deep, lasting transformation. They are not simply tasks to check off, but pathways to a more authentic life. This moment calls you to stop waiting for external change and to become the driver of your own destiny. You are invited to take the wheel, steer with intention, and move in the direction that resonates with your highest self. There is profound magic here. The universe is not a passive spectator. It reaches out with an open hand, inviting you to join in the co-creation of your life. When you say yes to this invitation, when your thoughts, your heart, and your spirit align with this cosmic rhythm, you unlock doors that once seemed sealed shut. This is your moment to step through them. The energy you choose to work with right now is far more than just a fleeting moment. It is a seed planted deep within the fertile soil of your soul, destined to grow and ripple outward in ways you might not yet see. This energy will reach beyond the quiet of tonight's new moon, shaping not only how you engage with others, but also the way you approach your dreams, and, most importantly, the way you see and feel about yourself when you look in the mirror each morning. It is the foundation upon which your future self will build, the very essence of the life you are in the process of creating. Have you begun to notice it yet? That subtle but persistent stirring deep inside you. A quiet, almost whisper-like voice gently nudging your awareness, asking those profound questions that only your heart truly understands. What is it that I genuinely desire? What am I ready to release once and for all? Where does my energy need to flow most fully and freely? These questions might seem small or delicate, like the soft flutter of a moth's wing in the dark. Yet, they carry enormous power. They are your inner guidance, speaking in the language of stillness, urging you to move through the sacred space between shadow and light with grace, intention, and deep compassion for yourself. This is the unique gift of the new moon, a chance to begin anew, to reset the narrative, and to meet yourself with the tender honesty and unconditional love you deserve. It invites you to declare softly but firmly, I am here. I am ready. I trust myself to grow. This moment is not about perfection or knowing exactly how everything will unfold. Instead, it is about courage, the courage to step into the unknown, to lean into uncertainty, and to trust that the unfolding journey is exactly where you are meant to be. Allow this night to become your turning point, a quiet revolution within you that is not marked by grand gestures or instant change, but by a decision to move forward, even when the path is unclear. Let the light of the new moon act as a mirror, reflecting back your courage, your dreams, and your unwavering hope. Let it serve as a reminder of who you truly are beneath the noise, the resilient soul, the seeker, the radiant being who is always ready to reclaim their power and their peace. Take a deep breath with me now. Let the inhale fill you with calm, and as you exhale, feel yourself settling into this sacred space. Think back over the path that has led you to this very moment. What has your journey looked like so far? What stories have you told yourself about who you are, where you belong, and what you deserve? Are there patterns, perhaps old ones, that seem to repeat like echoes from the past? And beneath those patterns, are there parts of yourself that have remained hidden, tucked away beneath layers of fear, shame, or busyness? Pieces of your soul you haven't quite had the courage or the time to face? Bringing those hidden parts into the light is not a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it is the birthplace of true strength. It is the moment your power begins to rise from within, fueled by radical self-acceptance and clarity. There is something deeply transformative in choosing honesty about yourself, your life, and your dreams. When you face your truth, you create a space where healing can begin and where new possibilities can emerge. This willingness to see yourself clearly, without judgment, is the foundation of real, lasting change. When you take a moment to share your reflections, whether in the quiet of your journal, through conversation with a trusted friend, or by joining a community, you are doing more than just expressing your thoughts. You are weaving a vital thread into a greater tapestry of shared human experience. Your story becomes part of a collective space where healing grows, where courage is nurtured, and where the energy of many supports the journey of each individual. Your voice matters here. Your experience is meaningful. By simply being present and willing to be seen, you contribute to the sacredness of this moment. If you feel ready, I invite you to subscribe and continue this unfolding dialogue with each new video, each new message, and each fresh insight into the rhythms of the cosmos. Together, we will explore the timing of the universe, the ways to align with its natural flow, and the grounded, practical steps you can take to create a life rich with purpose, clarity, and vibrant energy. This is a journey of alignment, not only with the stars above, but with the deepest desires and highest intentions within you. And if someone you know comes to mind, someone who might be standing on the edge of their own transformation, consider sharing this message with them. Sometimes the smallest act of sharing can be the spark that ignites a profound awakening. You might be the light that guides them toward their own new beginning. Remember, the new moon is not just a distant celestial event observed from afar. It is a deeply personal invitation. It is the universe whispering to your soul, gently nudging you to step into your highest self. Even when the way forward feels uncertain or the next step unclear, this moment offers you the choice to embrace hope, to reach toward something greater, and to turn your everyday life into a canvas for extraordinary possibility. The energy is already here, waiting to meet you exactly where you are. The timing is perfect. Your next choice, your next breath, could be the turning point you've been seeking. So ask yourself with compassion and honesty, are you ready to say yes to the life calling you forward? To your future self? To the powerful, radiant being that lies just beyond the veil of fear and doubt? All the answers you need are already inside you, quietly glowing beneath the soft light of this new moon. All you need to do is take that first step. Be fully present with this moment, and together we will move forward into what comes next. Soon, we will dive deeper into the mysteries of the moon's phases, how to hold on to the clarity you've gained, how to harness your intentions with purpose, and how to nurture your soul's growth in ways that ripple outward into every area of your life. There is so much waiting for you. This is just the beginning of a beautiful unfolding. For now, offer your thoughts. Let your voice rise in this sacred space. Share your hopes, your fears, your dreams. Allow yourself to be seen, to be heard, because your journey deserves to be honored and your growth deserves to be celebrated. The universe is listening. You are not alone. Right now, you stand at the edge of something powerful and transformative. This moment brims with possibility. It is the threshold between the life you have known and the one quietly waiting to emerge just beyond your current horizon. The new moon lifts the veil, revealing what has long been tucked away in shadow. And in this revelation, you are invited to face it all: the fears, the longings, the quiet visions you have carried in your heart. Remember, change is rarely a sudden flash of lightning. More often, it arrives in gentle waves, in slow, unfolding openings, like a flower blooming quietly under the hush of moonlight. So tune in to what you feel right now. Notice the tension and the softening, the flutter of something new rising inside you. This is more than an astronomical event. It is your life aligning with something greater, your pulse echoing the rhythm of the stars. Your path is a reflection of the cosmic dance, personal and vast, intimate and infinite. Carry this truth within you. Let it guide your choices, deepen your moments of stillness, and fuel the bold steps you are ready to take. Because the power of the new moon is not confined to this one night alone. It lives in how you carry its light into every day that follows. Let that light walk with you. Let it remind you of what is possible. Let it illuminate the path you are choosing now, one breath, one choice, one courageous step at a time.